Hello, my name is Jen Reynolds, and I am not a spiritual teacher, a guru. I'm just a spiritual gangsta in the middle of the desert going through the spiritual process just like you. I thought that was kind of funny. Probably wasn't that funny. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about quantum physics, law of attraction, and how relationships are changing. And some are even falling apart on this planet at this time. And during the spiritual process, this happens a lot. So, first of all, I only talk about things I've experienced. So, I have gone through this, and because I have gone through it, I see why I went through it from a higher perspective, and hopefully this can help those of you that are going through the same thing and that are in the middle of it. Because when you're in the middle of something during the spiritual process, you don't really have an understanding of it until you get through it. And then you could see the higher perspective. It's kind of cool once you understand this. And it's kind of cool once you understand why relationships kind of drop from your life. It's not cool when you're in it. It kind of sucks. So I'm going to give a little example. When you were in high school, you met maybe Bob and Sarah. And you, Bob and Sarah, were vibing at the same frequency, at the same energy. And you got along more than anybody else in the school. And there were people that you kind of got along with in high school, and there's others that you didn't like. And that's because your frequencies were different. Because with quantum physics and law of attraction, like attracts like. It's like a magnet. And if your frequency is different, you're going to repel each other. So you hung out with Bob and Sarah all through high school. You hung out with them after high school. You even had kids at the same time. Your kids hung out together. Your kids went to school together. You had a very long friendship. In fact, that friendship might have been 30 or 40 years. And then all of a sudden, kapow, you had a Kundalini awakening, or you had a heart center awakening, or you had a catalytic event that kind of just threw you into the spiritual awakening process. And it was unexpected, and it just kind of happened. And Sarah and Bob, when they incarnated on this planet, they decided they were going to live out the marriage and childbearing template, and they weren't going to change in frequency. They were happy. They're happy. They wanted to experience that experience. They wanted to have the house, the kids, the 5 cars, and work 80 hours a week. And you've gone through the spiritual process. You've quit your job. No, not everybody quits their job, but they change their job. And you don't want the house, you sell everything, and you go live off in a teepee somewhere. That's not what happens to everybody, but I'm just saying there's going to be changes. They're not going to always be that extreme, but there's going to be changes. You know, things happen and you make changes once you are awakened, because you start dropping belief systems that have been programmed into you by society, religion, and culture. You let those things go. You know that they're fake. You know they're fake. So you start letting go, of the 3D material world, and they're not letting that go. And so it becomes uncomfortable to be around them. And it's not just for you, it's for them as well, because they don't understand what you're going through. So, you're not at the same frequency anymore, and you start repelling each other. And a lot of times it can be abrupt, and, people get mad at each other and explode, and it's over that way. Or it can be very gentle and organic, which I'm very lucky because everything kind of happened gently and organically with the relationships that fell out of my life. Let me turn this off. That's like totally rude of me not to turn that off first. Oh, look, it's 11:11 when I looked at this, though. I got a beep at 11:11. All right, it's off. So, they decided, when they incarnated here, they weren't gonna go up, and they wanted to live the same lifestyle, and they just don't understand what you're doing. They don't get it, and you start repelling each other. And like I said, hopefully it just went, it went smoothly. And why this is happening, and this happens with all kinds of relationships as well. This happens with marriages. It happens with jobs, because, even at a job you have relationships. And the environment that you're around has an energy or a frequency, and you might not be able to, hang out there anymore. It might just be too dense for you. And why this is happening is because we are supposed to be, and this is not in a stuck up way, all right? Because I don't want anybody to think that somebody's better than anybody else, because when somebody is at a lower frequency and you're at a higher, or you're at a lower frequency and they're higher, you're at a different evolutionary process. And by letting go of somebody, especially if it's becoming really tense, you're actually doing an act of love. And they, even though they might be mad at you, you need to be the better person and just, send them off with love, because they still are evolving, even though they might not be at the same level of consciousness as you, because you decided to take, the quicker path. They still are evolving, and they need to evolve at their own pace. Or they might just stay where they're at, and that's totally their business. And we can't force anybody to move up. It's so completely up to them. So let me tell you something that happened to me. As a lot of people started falling out of my life, I went through a very, very dark time for I would say about 11 months, where I was just really, really in a dark place. It was completely necessary. So if you're going through this, a lot of people call it the dark night of the soul. If you're going through this process, it's very, very necessary, because you're purging out all of the belief systems that are fake in this world. The things that you've been programmed by society, culture, and religion are being purged out of you. And it puts you in this position where you're pissed that you've been lied to. Like, I was really pissed when I went through this process. So I can just tell you what I went through. And I started getting into conspiracy theories and, the Illuminati and all that crazy junk. And I'm not saying that those things are not true. It's just that you don't vibe at that frequency. Hopefully you don't stay at that frequency too long. Hopefully you go above that, because you know that anything you give attention to, you're creating. So if somebody else is vibing at a different frequency, you're not going to be able to do something called co-create with them. And that's what you really want to do. You want to start hanging out with people that are vibing at the same frequency, that have the same type of lifestyle, type of beliefs, and type of goals. And hopefully you can co-create together at the same frequency, create and start creating a better world. And that's the whole point of this, I believe. So if your relationships are starting to fall apart, even though it can be painful at the moment, know that there's a greater purpose. There is a divine plan that is in progress for you. And don't get so hard on yourself. Don't feel bad. And even if you've gone back to try to rekindle a certain type of relationship and it's just not working anymore, don't push it anymore. Don't push it. And just send them love and wish them the best. And really look for people that are in the same level of consciousness as you, so that you can do things with them that can benefit humanity. Isn't that awesome to be able to do that? It's a cool thing. It's sad when you lose the people from an emotional perspective, but when you look at the higher perspective, you're going to see that the reason why things are happening the way they are happening to you is for you to evolve into the highest version of yourself. And that is an amazing thing, because, we're all evolving on this planet, and hopefully everybody's going to start jumping on board, and we're going to start making this place of, this world a better place. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope this video is helpful to you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, let me tell you one other thing. I have a website called asweevolve.com. It's brand new, so there's not much on it, but go ahead and check it out. And I have a Facebook page called facebook.com/asweevolve. All right, bye.